TST Total Sports Talk. From Studio Spare Room in his own house, here is your host, Andrew Rogers.
TST Total Sports Talk. I am your host, Andrew Rogers. It is Friday, May the 26th. It is an absolute pleasure to be with you again, and thank you very much for tuning in on Facebook and on YouTube. As with every show for the month of May, it is dedicated to Sick Kids Hospital Foundation. Go to www.sickkids.ca and find the Donate Now tab. Donate for a great cause. It holds dear to my heart, as you guys all know, and I really appreciate you guys' support, and I'm looking forward to my donation at the end of the month, and to helping these kids out, because they need all the help that they can get, and glad to be a part of it. Really excited for the show today. We got a great show. We got a lot to cover. Tonight it's the semifinal at the 2017 MASTERCARD Memorial Cup in Windsor. Tonight the Jays will look to extend their win streak to 4 games when they open a 3-game series with the Texas Rangers at the Rogers Center. They get a lot of help too. Josh Donaldson and Troy Tulowitzki expected back in the lineup. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Last night it was game number 7 between the Ottawa Senators and the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh, with a berth in the Stanley Cup Finals on the line. And finally, the Boston Celtics were looking to stave off elimination at the hands of the Cleveland Cavaliers on their home court last night, game number 5 of the Eastern Conference Final over in the NBA Playoffs. Our show begins, though, today with the NHL Playoffs.
TST Total Sports Talk report for the NHL in the 2017 Stanley Cup Playoffs.
This one will go down as a classic, as double overtime was needed to decide this one. Chris Kunitz scored his first 2 goals of this year's postseason, the second being the game winner, 5:09 into the second overtime frame, as the Pittsburgh Penguins win this game 3-2. They win the series 4-3 and are off to their second consecutive Stanley Cup final, where they will face the Nashville Predators starting Monday night in Pittsburgh. Craig Anderson made 39 saves for the Sens in the defeat, while Matt Murray, who has played the role of hero in the Pens net, made 27 saves for the win on his 23rd birthday. Coming into the game, Pittsburgh was 0-7 in game number 7, so they win their first there after losing game 6 on the road. 6th Stanley Cup final for the Pittsburgh Penguins in their franchise's history. Ottawa goes to 0-6 in career game 7s. Chris Kunitz is also the oldest player to score a game 7 overtime winner in NHL history at the age of 37. Quite an accomplishment for Chris Kunitz. It's also his first goal that he has scored in an NHL game since mid-February. It's just unbelievable, him coming up clutch in this one. Pittsburgh is the first team to defend their championship since Detroit in 2009. They can also become the first team to win back-to-back titles since the 1997-1998 Detroit Red Wings. It would be the franchise's first back-to-back wins since 91-92, should they be victorious. Captain Sidney Crosby, the Pens' favorite for Conn Smythe Trophy this year, can also become the first player since Mario Lemieux in 1991-92 for Pittsburgh to win the Conn Smythe Trophy back-to-back years. Going into the series with Nashville, he and teammate Evgeny Malkin trail current goaltender for the Nashville Predators, Pekka Rinne, as the odds-on favorite to take home the trophy as playoff MVP. Pekka Rinne has been absolutely stellar for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He holds a record of 12-4 on the playoffs this year. Here is the complete list of favorites going into this series. Early list. Pekka Rinne leads that list. He's followed by Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Matt Murray. Philippe Forsberg of the Nashville Predators comes in. Phil Kessel, PK Subban, Roman Josi, Ryan Ellis, Victor Arvidsson, Jake Gensel, who has been nothing short of spectacular, and Chris Kunitz, obviously, who scored 2 in game number 7, including the winner. Any other player is a plus 1,000 to 1 odds to take home this year's Conn Smythe Trophy. We will continue to preview this final in the coming days before it all gets underway Monday night in Pittsburgh, game number 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals 2017. Elsewhere was game number 5 between the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
TST Total Sports Talk report for the NBA and the 2017 NBA Playoffs.
Another year and another trip to the NBA Finals for the Cleveland Cavaliers as they take game number 5 against the Boston Celtics 135-102. Cleveland outscored Boston by putting up a playoff record 43 points in a quarter, 43-27 in the first, and they don't look back as the Cavs advance to their third straight NBA Final. It is also the 7th straight final for Cleveland Cavaliers player LeBron James, and his 8th in the last 11 seasons. LeBron would pour in 20 in the first half on his way to a game-high 35 points. He would also add 8 rebounds and 8 assists. In the process, he passes Michael Jordan as the all-time leading scorer in the postseason, eclipsing Michael Jordan's mark of 5,987 career postseason points for his airness. LeBron finished this one, like I said, 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. Kyrie Irving had 24 points, while Kevin Love chipped in with 15. Cavs also set an NBA record by winning their 13th consecutive series closeout opportunity. It is a historic third consecutive matchup between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. These two teams have split the finals series thus far, with a rubber match coming in this year's playoffs, getting underway Thursday, June 1st in Golden State. What we will do is do a nice little thing here. Since it's so long before the series gets underway, we'll chronicle the last 6 postseason and NBA Finals for LeBron James and how those have played out, getting you ready for this highly anticipated matchup between the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, where they will look to settle their feud. They've split two matchups so far in the last 2 years in the NBA Finals. It'll be really interesting to see what happens in this one. Add a little Kevin Durant from the Golden State Warriors just to spice it up. But LeBron will be ready, and these two teams will go head-to-head, and it'll be a fantastic series to watch. We switch gears now to the 2017 Canadian Hockey League MasterCard Memorial Cup.
TST, Total Sports Talk Report on the 2017 MasterCard Memorial Cup, presented by the Canadian Hockey League.
The 2017 Memorial Cup semifinal goes tonight in round-robin rematch between the St. John Sea Dogs and the Erie Otters. Erie was victorious by a wide margin, 12-5 in their first matchup earlier this tournament. Erie captain Dylan Strome recorded a Memorial Cup record 7 points in the victory in round-robin play. Winner of this one will face the Windsor Spitfires in the Memorial Cup final on Sunday night. The puck drop tonight is at 7 p.m. and it is over on Sportsnet. We switch over now finally to the Toronto Blue Jays.
TST, Total Sports Talk Report for the Major League Baseball season and the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, it's a good news night, folks, as the Toronto Blue Jays will be welcoming back stars Josh Donaldson and Troy Tulowitzki to the lineup as they open up a 10-game homestand with a 3-game set against the Texas Rangers starting tonight at 7:07 in Toronto at the Rogers Center. Jays coming into the game having won 3 in a row. Like I say, Donaldson and Tulo making their returns to the lineup after lengthy absences on the DL. Their return comes at a perfect time as the Toronto Blue Jays are looking to continue their hot streak of late. Like I say, they've won 3 in a row. They're really swinging the bats well. Devin Travis, Ryan Goins, Kevin Pillar, Jose Bautista has been hitting really well. And it's really nice to see all these guys bringing it all together and putting up together a bit of a run. They started so abysmal at the beginning of the season, but it looks like this team is finally getting healthy again, and it looks like they could push close to getting back to 500. This series is this homestand will be really crucial. They got a series coming up, like I say, starting tonight against the Texas Rangers. They get a visit by the Cincinnati Reds, and then they face the New York Yankees for 4 games to close out that 10-game homestand. As far as tonight goes, the game time is 7:07 in Toronto at the Rogers Center. The game can be found on Sportsnet. It'll be Mike Bolzinger taking the hill for the Toronto Blue Jays as he goes up against A.J. Griffin of the Texas Rangers. This has been another episode of TST Total Sports Talk. I am your host, Andrew Rogers, reminding you to keep your head up and keep your stick on the ice.